One slip-up shouldn't ruin years of work.
Trust me, your father wasn't the only one invested in Fade's redemption,
Talon said.
I think that's why it hit us especially hard when...
He shook his head.
The official report went with Fade's assertion that the deaths were an accident, but the evidence heavily suggests otherwise. There were too many fail-safes, too many things that would have had to have gone wrong simultaneously for the lab safety systems to malfunction to that degree.
A knot formed in Prism's stomach. It had taken her a long time to come to terms with the idea that her father's first and favorite pupil could be responsible, even inadvertently, for so many deaths. To hear that it might have been intentional. But then, why does the official record not say that?
A few reasons.
Talon selected a wooden stirring stick and sloshed it around his coffee.
Primarily, Dosa wanted to save face. The public and the press demanded justice. A lot of high-level people feared for their careers. Getting the public to accept a watered-down version of the truth made it easier to handle. Secondly, executing Sables is problematic. Too many of them are too hard to kill. Cosmic is nearly indestructible. Fade might be easier than someone like her to deal with, but still difficult to dispose of. Lethal injection isn't quick enough to make up for his healing factor. His ability to shift out of solid form means that a firing squad is out of the question. And as you mentioned, he's expensive to keep incarcerated, so even if rehabilitation wasn't an option, we needed another way to handle him. We thought it would be easier for the public to swallow an unconventional punishment if we minimized the crime.
He tossed the stick into a wastebasket. But you did just incarcerate him, didn't you? She furrowed her brow.
Not exactly. As I said, we couldn't kill him, but that didn't mean we couldn't alter him slightly.
Cold crept through Prism. What did you do to him? Talon glanced around again before drawing a phone out of his pocket, but not the one she usually saw him use. No, that one had a distinct blue case, and this one was black and bulky. He tapped the screen. A red light radiated from it, projecting a grid onto his face.
Biometrics recognized,
An electronic voice announced.
What do you require, Talon?
I need the file for prisoner 376, Greg Curran, a.k.a. Fade.
Lights flashed and the device beeped. Talon started to pass the phone to Prism, but drew back when she reached for it. He held up a warning finger.
This doesn't leave Dosa. I'm violating protocol to show you it at all.
I promise I won't say anything. The phone felt strangely heavy in her hand. Her gaze flicked over the lines of text. Memory erasure. Neural pathways rewritten. Her breath abandoned her chest. You erased his memories? All of them?
That's complicated.
Talon took his phone back.
The procedure was very targeted. We focused on allowing him to retain memories that are functionally necessary while erasing experiences. Essentially, everything that led him to the point where he made that choice.
He took a long drink of coffee.
Call it the ultimate test of nature versus nurture. If Fade's choices were a matter of who he is, his genetic predispositions, as it were, then we've done nothing. But if they were the direct result of his upbringing, which admittedly was not ideal, and other circumstance he met along the way, then he's cured. He's no longer the product of those things, but a clean slate we can do with as we please. Perfect for re-education.
That sounds a little bit like a villain's manifesto. Rewriting and re-educating people for our own purposes? Prism wrinkled her nose.
Perhaps, but in this case, he agreed to the procedure as part of the plea deal. Otherwise, it would have gone to trial, and even with the difficulty of executing a Sable, the prosecution would have pushed for the death penalty.
Pain rippled Talon's face.
30 lives lost meant there were a lot of heartbroken survivors out for blood.
The room fell silent, other than the sputtering from the now mostly empty coffee pot. Prism regretted the tiny sip of coffee she had taken. It felt like it would eat its way through her roiling stomach. Or maybe that was her own nerves. She had worked so hard to convince herself that working with Fade, bringing him back into the fold, was the right thing to do, the way to honor her father. Now, not only was she possibly wrong about the sort of man Fade was, but that man might not even exist anymore. Rewritten, re-educated, remade.